everyone. Thank you for coming. We are lucky to have LA Philharmonic Principal Cellist, Robert deMaine, and to go over his bio and short introduction, we will have our president of LABS will be coming out and introducing as well. And we have 3 students tonight, so after each performance, if you can really show the appreciation of the performance of the young cellists. Thank you so much, and here is our president, Jerry Kessler.
Good evening, I'm Jerome Kessler, president of the Los Angeles Violoncello Society. Our guest master teacher tonight, Robert deMaine, well known by many of you, most of you, but for any of you who happen to have just arrived from Mars for the first time, Mr. deMaine is principal cellist of the Los Angeles Philharmonic. He's an internationally acclaimed soloist and chamber musician, and I refer you to our website, lacello.org, for more biographical details. Our first young artist tonight is Ryan Yang, a student of Vardan Gasparyan. Ryan will play the first movement of the cello concerto by Édouard Lalo. His pianist is Minhye Choi.
had me in tears. I mean, it's really just, I'm blinded by your talent. You're such a wonderful young artist. Alex, right? What's your name again?
Ryan.
Oh, close. 4 letters. Ryan, I'm so sorry. Ryan, unbelievable playing, really wonderful. How old are you?
11.
To be able to do that at 11, you know, what you're going to be able to do at 12, and 13, and 14, and 22, and you're very blessed. You know that, right? And you've got a very big talent, and if you want to do this with your life, you have big responsibility towards it. And has Mr. Gasparyan been your teacher the whole time?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm blown away. I mean, I'm sorry to gawk at you like you're a zoo animal or something. You're just amazing. Your presence, your musicality. I mean, you play like you're 20. I mean, a really good 20-year-old. It's really extraordinary. How many years have you been playing? When did you start?
When I was 7.
7? Oh my gosh. Wow. My goodness. Okay, I'm sorry to gush so much. I'll stop. Okay, it's time to think of something I might be able to say. Gosh, I don't know if I can be able to say anything. I was checking your habits, like walking around a little bit just to, study what you're doing, your bow hold and everything. Everything looks good. I wonder though, at times I worry about your neck. When you get really into the music, and this is a problem I have, and I've actually hurt myself, so I've made myself stop moving my head forward so much when I play, because it's sort of like a heavy metal type of thing, head banging, as they say. So watch it. I think we should start from the beginning. The introduction, and then this material comes back after right in the development. It's more declamatory. What would do you know what this is, basically? Do you know what this would be called if it were oratorio? It's like a recitative. It's like more spoken, and you have to speak more on the cello rather than sing or just play. And I think we can explore singing, playing, and speaking, as they say. What is it? Cantare, or speaking. Sorry, parlando, playing. So at the beginning, for instance, could we start? Let me play with you once, just to give me the last bit. Something a little bit more declamatory, like you're speaking, you're an orator speaking to an audience. Can you give me something a little bit more dramatic and fill out every note? Don't gloss over any time. I don't know if I was perfectly metric, but something like that. Try it again. One other thing. You don't need to be in such a rush here. I think it's a little freer. Treat it as though it's a cadenza, and don't worry. What about developing the vibrato a little bit? Right now, I feel like it's very hot right now. Maybe you could start that way and then. Going to that tritone, that's kind of weird, And that's 8th note and then 2 16ths, I believe. And 1, 2, 3. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. Let me just make sure I'm right. It's been a while since I played this. So the first E can be held quite long. Da, 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 da. So really play the rhythm that's there and don't rush through it. One more time, and then we'll keep going. As suspenseful, like exclamation points. I mean, those are real punctuations there. So if I do, I wait a little bit longer. Going to happen during the fermata. Keep them suspended, like it's not. Don't just play it right in time. I think the fermata means something else. Maybe the last one you could hold the longest. Think about it. I think you have more room to be creative, and I know that the way you play here is where you want to go crazy, because when you reach, you're not going to have as much freedom. So let's keep moving. Let's do this second one right from there. Somebody in suspense with just, if you have one note to play and you had to make it the most interesting thing in the world at that moment. I mean, that's the responsibility you have with your ability, I think. Maybe almost let the vibrato go to like almost white, almost blank. You know, we have such a range from almost zero vibrato, like an early music style, all the way to like very lush. So take advantage of that. One more time from the third iteration, right there. Once the chord dissipates, you should still be holding that A flat at the end of that. Don't just, because you're going to disappear otherwise, you'll get swallowed up. This concerto isn't played so often because a lot of it is on the lower strings. It's not the Elgar concerto, you know. And I'm not trying to compare it in a negative light. I love the Lalo concerto. It's one of my favorite concertos to play. But you really need to exploit that register more and hold that longer when you can. Okay, let's move on to the Allegro. good things here, but I'm not going to talk about the good things. But I think talk about the things that I think need a little bit of a thought and maybe some additional. I'm not going to say changes, but add some things to your playing. I don't like saying you need to change. You don't need to change anything about yourself. Just add some things. So shifting. Do you try to remember to lead with your elbow? Or do you just do it? You just sort of do it, yeah, right? Because you're made out of rubber. You can do anything when you're 11. I could do anything when I was 11. Not as well as you, but I could do it. But you get older, you start to stiffen up. You need to start thinking about leading your shifts with your elbow more, okay? Like, imagine, this comes from Aldo Peroso, imagine painting a circle, a clockwise circle on the wall as you're doing a downshift, or shifting towards the bridge. And then the opposite as you're coming this way. But always lead the shift with the elbow. And not with the wrist and not with the fingers. I know you're doing everything sort of instinctively, and your intonation is quite good. It's not perfect, but there's no such thing as perfect intonation, but it's very close. But I think it would serve you well to get the hierarchy in order mentally. So, notice how I get my elbow. Maybe you can't see, but as every shift that I do, I anticipate it with the elbow. And if I'm up here, I'm always able to place my bow as though this were a shelf or a table. Okay, never like this. I see a lot of this when you're playing, like your elbow is lagging down. Now, not everybody's going to have this perfect table setting. It depends on how you're built. But I think you could do a little better in that department. I think your accuracy will improve when you get this up and over sooner. Another thing. What I do with this to spit out that mode of dum ba da da da, I treat that like a duple, like it's yum da 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 da. It's the same rhythm if you approach that way. But can we start at the beginning? So you hear the dum ba da da da. That first F is very important. Right now I hear da 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 da. So you got to spit that out. And if you treat it as yan da 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 instead of dum ba da da da, you follow? Sort of. Okay, just bear with me. Try it one more time from the top. Good. Okay, that's excellent. You're getting it right away. So, what's happening with the vibrato right now? I feel like your hand is kind of tight. And can you describe how your hand feels right now? Is it loose or is it?
It's not that tight.
It's not that tight. Okay. But I'm finding that the vibrato is a bit on the kind of nervous side. I'm wondering if you could try to slow it down just a bit. Keep the same. I would say keep the same amplitude, the same width and stuff. Try this once. Play it softly. And under tempo. Like you don't want to wake the baby. That's better, but I think the baby's crying. So just a shiver over the note, maybe. Just bend it a slight bit. Can you slow that down even like half the speed? can discuss with your teacher, with Mr. Gasparyan. I have a vibrato exercise that works really well. If you're interested, it's a little bit like that. I think we did the staccato exercise. I don't know if and then you get you work it up faster and faster. But it's a good control exercise with a rhythm, and you work it with a metronome. I can send, Vardan, I can send a PDF. I've written it out. I mean, if you could read my handwriting. Nothing I do is high tech. So, but it's a very useful exercise to develop control over the speed of your vibrato. And I think the earlier you start doing that, the more colors you're going to have on your palette to paint. And you already have such a beautiful tone poetry like repertoire in your playing. It's great, but I think it can be even more. Let's. Sorry, I'm overshooting. Let's go. Let's actually take it from the top one more time. It's gonna hurt your posture eventually, and I think you should try to get rid of it now. You know, so it's not affecting your playing yet. Okay, but it is bending your spine when you do that as well. So it sounds wonderful. Can we move on a little bit to the? That's actually from. Let's go from there. Okay, yeah, it's the next section. So he slurs that. I wonder, I'm not sure if that's in the edition I lived in was separate. It was like a septuplet going up there, but you might consider playing it separately. It will speak better. Just play that arpeggio. How about flatten the bow hair? Flatten it all. And now use just a tiny bit. That's right, spit it out one more time. Now don't let the bow leave the string. See, what happens when you go this way, when you turn the bow this way, it drifts towards the fingerboard. So what we want, what I like as home base is, it's a bit controversial. I know Ron Leonard and I got into over this once. I like to be able to go to flatter hair, because the bow stays absolutely in one place and parallel to the bridge that way. And it's very difficult. It's very difficult to play portato when you have flat hair. So if you want to play a nice legato, flatten the bow hair. Think like a violinist. Let the bow go into this part of the hand a little bit. Not all the way, but a little is enough. And then from there you can decide what type of bow stroke you want by going this way. or skewing it this way so you can go closer to the bridge. Because it will drift towards the bridge if you manipulate the stick this way and that way. So that's something to think about. You'll probably master it in 3 days. So think about it, but do the bowing you're used to doing. Right. That's a 3/4 size, or
Yeah, 3/4.
yeah. I mean, it sounds pretty good for 3/4. I mean, that's not bad. You know, I think you need a higher bridge or something because you're getting some Chewbacca sounds on. You know that video where it's like things that sound like Chewbacca, like the window that goes down, the toilet, and then the drawer. I love that. I want to do. He's shy. What's going on? He's in there, but anyway. Yeah, I love it. Anyway, I'm like a 2-year-old. Sorry, everybody. Yeah. So the shift. I notice you're managing to play fairly well in tune in spite of yourself. You're getting away with it. But I think now it's time to sort of tighten the screws a little bit and get things more in order and get the bigger hinges involved. Because right now you're just sort of going for it, and it's fun, it's great, but if you're serious, I think you need to take the next step and start really thinking about a little bit more about the mechanics. And I'm not trying to mess you up, get too much inside your head, but the sooner you start addressing some of this stuff, you're going to improve like crazy, okay? Because when you get your elbow up and over, your hand is in position earlier. You do this, I mean, it's not in an advantageous position yet. You've got all the weight now this way. So, can we go from the second theme? Of the bow. I don't know if you're aware of it. Are you aware? Are you doing it on purpose?
Yeah.
Is he doing it on purpose because of you? Because of you. Oh, it should be the other way around. I think I try to move against the bow most of the time. I mean, there are exceptions, but and I don't do it excessively. I try not to abuse it, but it does seem to assist bow changes, and it seems to augment the amount of bow that I have. It seems to extend the ability to play long bows. So can I play this with you once? Just to... vibrate the note before the shift, but it's such an easy culprit when that happens. There's so much more in it that I know you can get. So try to vibrate every note. Enjoy the note you're on. Don't be thinking too much ahead. But, you know, playing the cello is like being a fighter pilot a little bit. It's like, okay, I gotta think about what's just ahead. I can't think about what, you know, a maneuver that I just did. I might not have executed it perfectly, but if I think about that, I'm gonna hit that mountain over here. So I really have to stay focused. But you still have to just relish what you're on and the journey of that note to the next note. So let's go. Once. You're playing 1, 3, 4, 3. Is that what you're doing? Yeah. Sorry, my cello's like half step sharp to the piano. Just play this. Just play those 4 notes, separate bows. Can you try one thing and keep the vibrato going? Watch what I do. I try to even do it almost through the shift, but try to keep the vibrato going as though those 4 notes are one note. That makes sense? Sort of? Okay, try that. So much better. So much better. And then there's you did a sort of a French style shift, maybe. You could do a nouveau shift. I loosely call them French and then Russian. Maybe I have them reversed, I don't know, but there's so much variety there. Try the nouveau shift. So shift on the nouveau once. That's the old bow. Almost. Listen what still the old bow, but you'll experiment with it. I mean, this is lovely too. That still can be very lovely. Probably doing it on a slur anyway, right? I'm not sure at this point if it's slurred or not. But my point is you have to sing through the whole phrase. Don't stop the vibrato in each note. Try to relax the gesture. It doesn't have to be electric all the time. Okay? I think you'll always have your sound. It's gonna still be your sound all the time. Doing on time, by the way. It's 8. It's past 8.
It's good.
Yeah. I didn't get to some of the past. Do I like 5 more minutes?
Of course.
Okay, so you get what I'm trying to say here. Okay. Now another thing, you're opening up at the elbow here. I think you also need to do it in the right arm. So moving against the bow can help this. Right now I feel like you don't quite open the bow enough and the angle is here when you reach the tip. So play with me a down bow, just on the same note. So when you play the down bow, only lift the arm, the whole arm, and stop when you get to the middle. Like do what I do here. Lift the arm. That's it. Now, only with the elbow. Keep going. Can you keep going? Now, can you compensate a little bit by moving the cello to the left? That's it. That's it. You feel like you're leaning on your left butt cheek. Sorry. Can I say that? Better with the mask on. So that's sort of how it feels. It's like your weight is going over onto, say, your left foot. So you're opening up at the arm. I think you're not using the whole arm, and you should be. Absolutely should be. And you need to do it now. You need to start doing it now because it's a good habit to develop. Let's go to the where the end of the exposition. But before all that, it's when I think. Very good, very good. So, what I'm not seeing in you is you're not resolving tension in the left hand when you need to be. And as a result, it's not quite, it's a little bit garbled. And I'd like a little bit more articulation in the left hand. Now what I mean by that is not just placing the fingers down on the string. Right now I think you're just placing the fingers, like barely. And I think we need more snap, crackle, pop. So, we need a very noisy, busy left hand here. And can you just play that with the left hand? I just want to hear you, how you... Okay, I'm getting the hammer-ons, which is a guitar talk for that. But the pull-offs are the left-hand pizzicatos. I'm not getting them. Just play this. Yeah, you're not used to doing that, right? It's kind of weird. But I still feel like you're just setting the finger down. Really go for it. Heavy metal. One more time. Almost, but that's the type of articulation you need. Let me try this with you. Sorry, I do a little bit faster, but that's the idea. I'm still able to, well, my memory isn't so good right now, but I'm still able to kind of do it because I learned to do that articulation. Right here, a good fingering. Stay in fourth position. Do this with me. Then open D string. Then as you did. And then I wonder if you just did it right in tempo. That might be. Is there a ritornello there? I don't think there's one written, but it might be more exciting if you didn't do one. Yeah. I think we probably need to move on, but I mean, I could work with you for 3 hours. You would probably say, that's enough. It's really terrific. It's great to work with you. I hope you'll check in with me again sometime. I'd love to hear you play. Yeah, just let me know. I'd be happy to hear. Yeah. Do you live in Pasadena?
No.
Oh, okay. You teach in Pasadena, right? Where do you live?
Los Angeles.
Okay. All right, right on. Thanks again. And thanks to the orchestra. Bye-bye.
Our next young artist is Debbie Lee, student of Joon Sung Jun. Debbie will play the Prelude from the 6th Suite in D by Bach.
know it's like, we get so used to them being uncomfortable.
Yeah,
You've played for me before.
I have.
That's right, I recognize
Yeah.
you, okay. Right on. All right. You study with,
Professor.
of course, yeah, you played for me here.
I'm sorry.
You played for me here once before.
I did, yeah.
That's right. All right, so take it away.
Okay.
Thank you.
was really gripping. I know at times it grips you a little bit too much, you know. I mean, it's overwhelming. Like that you want to do so much to this, and it's you know, it plays you. And it's almost best when we just kind of stay out of the way as much as we can. And I know I learned, I play this with a slightly different bowing and maybe a bit of a different tempo, but it's fairly close. I think a few things, I mean, it's very, very, very good. Very good. I could tell how hard you've worked on this and how long you've been playing this suite. I mean, or have you worked on the whole suite or just the Prelude?
Just the Prelude.
Okay. Yeah. Have you looked at the other movements?
I have.
You know that how this just goes right into the allemande so beautifully and effortlessly. And have you ever played a 5-string cello before?
I have not.
Do you know how easy this is? It's you know, it's like when we get the you know, I'm thinking like, why don't we just do that? Like, it kind of sounds like that. But why do we bother doing this like kind of elaborate, you know? We have to simulate the string crossing. Well, we could figure something out, but I'm so lazy. But I think shifting is one of the things you need to really focus on. There's too much goop in it, and we have to figure out what elisions in the notes are like deserve an audible shift, and most of them do not. You know, I think, especially in Bach, you want to avoid. I mean, Fournier gets away with some that I would never dream of trying, but he does them so beautifully. You know, like some of the downshifts that he does are like, how does he do that? I want to. What supplement does he take in order to do it? It's amazing. You know, it's like you know, Pavarotti. You know, all of a sudden, and it's like it works for him. But, you know, so it's finding our own voice is often a challenge. Like, and towards the end, I wonder if you're not giving yourself enough room with the bowing. I think by then you're doing 6 in a bow, right? When you reach that diminished chord, you really need to, I think, honk that out.
Okay.
You know, but can you try just a little bit? Play it even under tempo. Really make each note as clear as possible in the sort of cadenza that you reach from the C sharp. Okay, so in this, can that be even faster? Just do that. Okay, here's one thing that you're doing. You're leaving the string. Stay on it. Or stay very close. I mean, I know the harmonic has to ring, but you honestly, you don't. I mean, you could explore doing a different fingering, but I do this one too. Starker would yell at me. That is a 19th century fingering. Try it. Just the ascending arpeggio.
Okay.
And stop. Yeah. So examine your hand. If you're like this, it's wrong. You want to have this resolved. You don't want the tension in the air. Once you play the note, once the extension is done, to hell with it. Okay? So you want your hand to be in almost like a loose fist as often as possible. And like I was saying to Ryan, you want to resolve that tension as soon as possible, not maintain it. Again, slowly. What if you start without an extension, and then do sort of a jump extension, because you know where that note is. Although every cellist plays sharp in first position. watch out for. And you, young man, Ryan, first finger in first position. Every cellist in the room, you're sharp, okay? You are. I said that to Vardan too. Mr. Gasparyan, sorry. Or are you doctor now? I don't know. Monsignor, I don't know. I haven't talked to you in forever. Anyway, so, sorry. Resolve that tension immediately. I mean, that's very, very important. Starker got on me for that. So, play them separately like that. Do 6 notes, 6 notes, 6 notes with a comma in between. Okay. When you get to the A, can you make sure that you're...
Yes.
It's like a python that has struck and then goes right back.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh.
Treat it like you don't have one coming up.
Okay.
Okay. Almost. Okay, good. Now, can you give me as much, as noisy a left hand as possible? But not sharp. That's it. Yeah, your C sharp. So right a little high. Let me hear your A. Close enough, okay. Try to keep your head as compact at all times as you can. I know there are going to be times when extensions are unavoidable and your hand is going to get mighty uncomfortable, but the rule is you need to resolve them. Now, we'll go back to the beginning and middle in a minute, but can you play from there after the arpeggios? Okay, can you do the first? Just do those two. Okay, it looks to me like your arm and hand are pretty tight. How would you characterize?
It's tight.
Yeah, so I wonder if maybe just take this one position, this one gesture, and deconstruct it. It's worth the time. I mean, it doesn't take that long. So, what would it take to get it as lazy bones as possible? I mean, you don't have to hold the hand. It shouldn't be hard work. It really shouldn't. You'll get more beauty and more sound out of it. Think like you're made out of rubber, out of taffy or something, you know? Just do those notes again, slowly. I see you're holding down your first finger. Why? You forget where the note is? You know where it is. You don't forget how to ride a bike, you know? Even if you know what I want you to do is like let the hand just sort of roll into that, okay? Keep the fingers together. Think like an amphibian, because you're going to have to up here. All right. Almost. I mean, you're still reluctant to let go of this like tightness.
Okay.
Relax the hand. Just hold your hand like this. How do you hold your bow? Show me. Yeah, it's the same. Okay. Right. Try again. You're still holding these fingers in position. I want to watch me once. I mean, I know that's not perfectly tuned, but the point is I want you to just sort of roll your hand with the fingers touching each other.
I see.
That's it. Can it be really like this, and just roll the hand into the note with the, from this hinge. This hinge is very useful, okay? May I touch your elbow? I mean, I just want to just make sure that, one more time. Like really allow that to happen. Can you do that? That's it. Okay. Don't let this get too loose, but let it come from this hinge, like you're opening a doorknob. Okay. You can get so much more accomplished. I'm giving everybody a life hack in here. You know, it's like it really, when you're that spot on the lala, I wouldn't be able to play that if I didn't have this motion in my hand. I can't do all that with the fingers. Nobody can. I mean, I'm sure there's people who can. But my point is, you have to employ the bigger hinges, and this one as well. So anyway, we're stuck on the ending of the Bach, but Paraso used to like ask me to do it. I don't know. I couldn't do it. Anyway, let's start at the beginning one more time. Okay, I wonder, it's like you're on a bicycle. Da 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 da. Yeah, it's like you're genuflecting at the end of the bar. Is that on purpose?
No.
Is that on purpose, Professor?
I think it's a habit.
Okay, I think we need to have a prevailing, like underlying a pulse.
Okay.
So whether that's have to have and maybe, I always think of the last movement of Brandenburg 6 when I hear this. It's like Bach writes so many things in this vein. It's almost like in his mind, he's got a shelf where he takes out that affect and he writes da 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 da. It's so wonderful how he does so many similar things. I don't know, maybe I'm completely off base on this, but I'll choose my tempos based on how I feel another, like a gigue might go. To me, this is very much a gigue at the beginning. Gigue-like, okay? Casals used to call he had a name for each suite, but the fifth one was the crucifixion and the sixth one was the resurrection. So it's kind of interesting, at the Stations of the Cross or whatever. He was very holy about Bach, as we all know. So there's a wonderful video of him playing the first suite in, I think, a church in Prades, and the south of France, and it's remarkable how perfect it is. It's just so out of fashion, but it's so perfect. You know, thank God these things are preserved on YouTube. Watch them. In the question and answer thing, you're gonna ask me, what dead cellists do I need to watch? I'll give you a whole list of them. I don't want them to get forgotten. I hope they're not. Anyway, so back to you. You are not dead. Give us something with a little bit more. And think of the as the thing that propels the phrase, not duh. We know what's in 4, okay? You can hammer the first part, but that's it.
Okay.
You know, it's like, okay, already. you have any rosin on you, bro?
I do.
You
I
do.
can put more.
May I see your bow for a second? I just want to check. Maybe it's, I want to make sure that what I'm about to say is not for. That's nice, but I'm keeping this. I have a feeling that it needs a tiny bit more tension. I mean, I play with loose hair as well, but sometimes I need a little bit more. It's pretty humid, so. You don't want to be playing Colegno Trotto on this, because I think I'm hearing maybe some of the stick. That's what the problem is. I'm guilty of it right now too, so let's try to use, again, a little bit more of the flat of the bow hair, the whole ribbon. You get a cleaner, crisper, more chiseled, like scalpel-like sound. Try that. Okay, good. This is already better. Now, what if you had a busier left hand? I'll try to play with it. You hear that like little. I was just listening to the Beaux-Arts trio with Walter Trample playing the Brahms A major piano quartet, the Adagio, where there's you hear all this like, but the way he does it is just so. It's like velvet, you know, how he gets the string to speak, and you don't have to do everything with the bow. It's like the chops are right here. It's like the voice. Use a lot of left hand.
Okay.
Busy, busy, busy. Now I don't mean you have to use a lot. You don't have to use a lot of vibrato. Some. I mean a lot of articulation.
I see.
Like slap the strings, like you're playing like wash tub bass or something like that. Never mind. It's really excellent. I think the idea of making the left hand more compact will serve you well. I mean, extensions, what you're doing with the hand right now is very good. Like, it's proper what you're doing during the extensions, but I have a feeling that you have a certain constant level of tension in your left hand that is adversely affecting your playing. Am I wrong? And it might be affecting your vibrato a little bit too. I think by resolving as much of it as you can and saving that energy, I think that's going to help you in the long run. And you're going to be able to just make you better. It's going to improve your playing an awful lot. You have to trust me on this. I think every time you play I tell you what, if you were to practice like chromatic scales. You could kill two birds with one stone. Am I allowed to say that anymore? Is that okay? Am I going to get canceled? You can practice the noisy left hand. And making it compact. Do that once. Now can you go all the way with... Pretend you're a frog with webbed fingers, okay? Not a frog like my dad, but... See what I'm doing? You're like this still. You're not even aware of it. I want your fingers touching each other, okay? Don't even touch the back of the neck with the thumb. Do this. It's even easier to do without the thumb. Okay, it still looks like it's a little bit, like you're used to being tight, and you're transferring that to this exercise, but keep doing this, and think about letting the hand roll. Use your elbow in all your shifts and all your finger transfers. I wouldn't be able to do that with just the... It's not efficient. Always using this motion, the bigger motion. Everybody, think about your elbows, both sides. It's so important. How are we doing on time? I haven't really done much of Bach here. You talk more about Bach. What time are we getting kicked out of here? Does anybody know?
We are okay. We don't have a time.
Oh, so we could go till like 2 a.m. if we party? Because we got all those, alcoholic beverages over there. I'm a little bit reluctant to pick on the Bach too much, because I know that I'm going to... A lot of what I have to say has to do with the connections between the notes. And I don't really have so much of a beef with how you play the Bach, but there's so much that I think gets in the way of your conception of it, because like sometimes I'll get shifts that don't belong. Like I remember, I'm an incorrigible name dropper, so please forgive me. I had the good fortune to play a lot of chamber music with Joseph Silverstein, and he was like one of my biggest mentors. And I remember once he said to me after I played a particularly ugly downshift, he said, "Robert, if you're going to play that shift, I don't want to hear about it." Thank you. But it kind of woke me up to, I was doing a little too much of that, and so I doubled down and on my practicing and getting rid of that stuff. So if you that should, if you get rid of that, I don't know if you did that. I think there was something going on here. Can you start where you play the A? Right there? Section. You're thinking about it, it's like, I know, it's like looking down from the top of the Eiffel Tower, It's really not a big deal. I mean, that sucked, but try to hide the shift. I mean, I look at left-hand articulation like this. There's basically 3 types of articulation, and variations. There's the hammer-on, the pull-off, and then the shift, usually the rapid shift or the slow shift. The expressive shift or the occult shift, the one you want to hide. And millions of variations, new bow, old finger, new finger, etc. Russian, French, Belgian, Kenyan, whatever you want to call the shift. And so you want to know exactly what type of articulation you want to do. I mean, you don't want to go to the nth degree with it, but at least, so we've got pull off, hammer on, hammer on. I wouldn't just have the finger sitting on the string. That's a rapid shift. Another hammer on, if I do that finger. other trick is to try to limit as much as you can inaudible shifts to semitones. It's an easier bridge to gap, you know, especially when you're preparing like orchestral excerpts for auditions. That's a really good thing to do. And I think it applies here in a lot of ways. And it's generally, I think, a much more musical thing. Shifts that you want to hear, those should be deliberate. And those that we hear that are just for travel, get rid of them.
Okay.
You know, you have to be very, very hard on yourself. You know, I'm applying the same brush on you that I do to myself. So please forgive me if it's a little too harsh. You know, I mean, you're playing great. I just, you know, I think to take it to the next level, I think you need to do this. I'm wondering also about your bow, and sometimes I feel like there's a little bit of instability, especially as you get out to the upper half. Like maybe, show me what's going on there. Just draw a down bow, and yeah, so you're going out with the whole arm. What if you tried to do the same thing and just really opened up at the elbow? Like do it with the whole arm. This is basically the motion, and then you get half a bow for free. That thing, the Leonard Rose special. So actually lift the arm. Get it up. Get the elbow up high. So, but you're doing the whole arm at first, and then extend, and then drop. But don't drop the arm and then do the bow. As though this is part of the arm. That's the idea. Almost. All right. I think this will be easier if may I? Okay, so flatten the bow here a little bit. You're going to get more parallel to the bridge. So lift your whole arm, and then out from the elbow, then back again, drop. Okay, now again, can you do that? Extend, yes. Now do it again and flatten the hair all the way, like feel the bow in this part of the hand, like this, like sort of. It's weird. It's like a violinist. Think like a violinist sometimes. Okay. And drop the arm. Play around with that, okay? A little bit every day. And they'll creep into your playing. Because what's happening is that towards the end of the bow, you're sort of getting out here. And the sound, it chokes. You've got to try to cut the string at a 90-degree angle. The best way to do that is let the bow track when it's parallel to the bridge. See what happens? I let the hair tell my hand what to do. And then from there, that's home base for me. From there, I decide what type of sound I want, and if I want to go closer to the fingerboard, I do it. The bow doesn't boss me around. I'm the boss when I'm in shape. So that's the idea. So just take a few of these things and take the time during, 10, 20 minutes, the really listen for that snap, crackle, pop in that chromatic exercise. And if anybody wants a copy of the vibrato / staccato exercise, because it's an exercise for the right hand, right arm, and also for the left hand. It's just a rhythmic exercise that is very, very useful to develop. It's like staccato is almost like vibrato of the bow arm. And I know people talk about bow vibrato a lot. I'm not a big fan of that. I do that in Europe a lot. In Germany, they teach that. But that's another topic. I hope there are no Germans listening to this. My mom's German, so hi. I have to issue disclaimers. Anyway, do you have any questions about this stuff, or?
How long did it take you to get the relaxed left arm.
You know, it's funny. I kind of had it instinctively. Like I had really good training from the beginning, and you know, my teachers all told me to be super loose, and I just, you know, I got lucky. You know, I got really lucky. I was just made of rubber. Like that kid. Where is he? There he is. Ryan, Plastic Man. So I think, you know, later on, I analyzed it and figured out, oh, this is what I do. This is how I do it. And I almost had a breakdown when I did it. It's like I couldn't. It was weird. I almost couldn't play anymore because it's like paralysis by analysis a little bit. You know, like almost like writer's block in a way. But you know, I got it together eventually. So, but I think if you just apply a little bit of this every day, and I hope this is okay that I'm.
Of course, by
Yeah.
all means.
I don't want to step on any teacher's toes here.
We are all learning, right? Very much.
But I've seen it work, and it's not the type of thing that you're going to have like an overnight, you know, epiphany. But you'll wake up, you know, six months from now, and you get your cello out and be like, what happened? I'm better, you know. Those new plateau are so great, but then they can be very long. No, but it's great. It's great to know that you can improve at any age. I just played the Barber Concerto a few weeks ago in Maine after getting over COVID, and I mean, I couldn't believe I could do that. You know, after being sick, and I mean, it took everything I had, but I did it. And it's like, you guys know the Barber Concerto, right? It's fearsome. I secretly think that Samuel Barber hated Raya Garber. So it's like, and he just wanted to stick it to her. You know, it's like, oh, here you go. Bye. You know, that concerto, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's like a scream from a window on a dark night. And the violin concerto is like a sunny day at the beach. You know, they're so different. But anyway, it sounds great. I think your intonation is generally right on, and you sound wonderful. I'm wondering about your end pin. It looks like it's bending like the wrong direction a little bit. Maybe it's just an optical illusion. Can you hold it out straight so I can see the? No, I think it's all right. Yeah, it's one of those fancy. It's got the point, and then what's that? It looks like an eraser.
Yeah, it's pretty much rubber.
Oh, okay, is that to keep it from slipping?
Yeah.
Or it's not an eraser. Okay. It fixes the hole in the floor that you leave. It's filler. Anyway, I think we should probably move on. Can we just take a 5-minute break? And then, are you finishing up your master's right now?
Yeah.
Okay. What are your plans for beyond?
To audition for orchestras.
Yeah. Yeah. It's there are a lot of positions open right now, actually. So there are going to be some in LA, I think. We have one opening that needs to get filled. It's going to be a while before that audition happens, so we'll see. Anyway, a little bit of a break.
Thank you.
heard a Masterclass with Ben Zander, and he was coaching this piece, and he tuned his cello, and then he didn't tune it back up, and then somebody played the Allegro concerto, so he just continued, you know. Hey, why not? Sorry.
Our final young artist of the evening is Yosef Feinberg, who's a student of David Garrett. Yosef will play the first movement of the Sonata number 8 by Zoltán Kodály. I should, by way of disclosure, mention that both David Garrett and I studied at different times with Laszlo Varga. Varga won the principal cello chair at the New York Philharmonic playing this Kodály.
How about that? I didn't know that. Where are you from?
I'm from Santa Cruz.
Okay. Okay. You remind me of a old friend as a cellist named Adam Satinsky. He's principal cellist of the Naples Philharmonic. You guys play very similar. It's something else. Really, really imaginative, very individual playing. I know it's hard to escape, Starker in this piece. It's like, it's got him all over it. It's like Dupre's Elgar, or Melsova's Shalomo, or, Garbasova's Barber Concerto. It's like they're, reference recordings and interpretations that we have to respect, but at the same time, we can't get too hung up on it. And but there's still a lot to learn, I think, from Starker's interpretation, and also, for somebody who never really studied with Starker, like formally. I mean, I played for him about 6-7 times, and he always asked me, he said, why don't you come to Indiana to study with me? Because I don't want to be a 7th-rate you, because like for as much as he proclaimed that his students all sounded different, I disagreed, and I knowing how impressionable I am, I probably would have ended up being a clone. I mean, look, there's a story. I want to believe it's true. He always had a bon mot to say about everything. It's like he gave a masterclass. I think it was at North Carolina School of the Arts, and some kid had shaved the top of his head. He was going to play for him. Some smart-ass kid shaves his head. It's a room full of people, and maybe it's an auditorium. He lights a cigarette and plays a movement of Beethoven's Sonata. And Starker, that is not the only secret to my success. So perfect. I want to believe it's true. I think it is. I also heard Paraso say to somebody, "You have a small sound, but ugly." Wow. Okay. Anyway, that does not apply here. I promise. But one of the things that Starker said, one of the many things that Starker said in a class with me was, and I think he got it from one of his teachers, Leo Weiner in Budapest, was create excitement, don't get excited. And there's a lot of you getting too excited. And there's a line. It's like, I think you go over the cliff a little bit too much emotionally, and I'm so guilty of that. I idle at 100 miles an hour. It's like, it's hard for me not to get swept away with my emotions. And I think that we can lose a lot of technical control. I don't know if you were here when I was saying about being a fighter pilot at the cello. Like we're sort of locked in, we're sitting here, it's like we're looking straight ahead. And if we look too much at what just happened, we're going to crash the jet. Come up to me.
I'll have to.
So we're sort of, yeah, that's okay. It should take about an hour and a half. I told you. That's good.
Almost there.
So, is it Joseph or Yosef?
Yosef.
Yosef. Okay. So, I think some of your musical ideas might be a little bit more clear if you were to back away just a little bit from it and look at it as though, I don't know if this is going to make sense, but look at it as though it's behind glass in a way. You can't really touch it. But to make it come alive, you do just enough to where it's like you don't play so hot that you screw it up. You know what I mean? It's like some of the passionate playing that you do gets a little bit over the top, and you end up missing what I think is very much in your reach technically, and like you get lost in the heat of the moment, if that makes sense. And I'd just like to remind you, things that you do, it's excellent, but try to rein yourself in a bit. Like, for instance, you could start more from the string. Just keep the bow as close to the string or on the string as much as possible. Can you start at the beginning once? Just be really, really nonchalant almost. And just put your arms by your side. And then start. Good. Now, can you play just back off a little bit in volume? Because it's really big. I think if you were to not do this, but play with a little bit more hair, and then just let the bow do its thing without you pressing so hard. Up there somewhere. That's exhilarating when you hit it. But you really have to kind of back off a little bit because you have to save your energy. It takes an enormous amount of energy to play this piece. And you have to back off. When you watch Starker play this, or even when he plays the... Sorry, I know. It's, the Casa do. Create excitement. Don't get excited. He's not saying don't feel passion for the music. It's just don't let your nervous energy get the better of you. It's still there. Your passion is still there. Just if you back away from it a little bit. You don't need to saw the cello in half, ever, especially when you're alone. When you're playing a Brahms sonata, that's different. On a full stick, especially. That's excellent. It's enough. It's enough intensity. Start with a certain I would recommend starting with a certain set point, and if you feel like on a certain day that you can go beyond it, by all means. But if you're feeling a little bit, then don't go beyond it. I even have fingerings and bowings that are like, I'll have my safe fingering or bowing, kind of daring, and then like that blank crazy bowing or fingering, and sometimes I'll do that if I'm feeling super adventurous and comfortable in front of an audience. But sometimes I'm tense and I just don't feel right that day. Often we do our best playing when we feel awful because we feel like I don't have any skin in the game. I'm going to play terrible, and we end up playing our best because we don't have the same level of hang-ups as we do when we care too much. Does that make any sense?
Kind of.
I have won every audition that I've taken when I just didn't care. I'm serious. I mean, of course I care about my playing, but that's the thing. It's like I cared only about my playing. I didn't care about grabbing the brass ring. I didn't care about winning the competition. I only cared about playing well. At the end of the day, that was what mattered, and I just put everything else out of my mind. So on that C sharp, wherever it is, if you could sit on just a little longer, that really wails nicely. I think you could do a bit more. And that wasn't even all I could give it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hold your eardrums. Okay, so just for the so let's keep going. Da ya da da da. Okay, don't gloss over da da da. Really sing through these things. Da da da, ya da 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 da, ya da 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 dum ba dum. I really like to hear the exact rhythm, if at all possible. Thinking more. Something a little bit more like that. Maybe. Like this rhythm. I cheat. I do a harmonic. And if you need to find that note. That a really big destination. So can you start again from the yeah da 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 da? That's it. Treat it almost like Bach here, like a one voice. So you've got, so think, you've got those two, antecedent consequent kind of things. It's sort of. The stretches and then the 1 2 1 2 when you do that. How do you do that? I would have to grow another finger to do that. I mean, you're very blessed with those hands. That's, man, wow, my next life. I'll probably be a bricklayer like my grandfather. But anyway, how about we keep moving? Let's go from. Now, I wonder, it's a little bit indistinct. I wonder if you could play it with a. Just a little bit more. Again, snap, crackle, pop. I know I'm repeating myself. So it doesn't sound garbled at all. It's very clear. Also, yeah. And one thing that might make it more artsy, some more expensive. Maybe some punctuated with a little bit of shine on some of the notes. Again, you can go through it and do what you will. But it's nice as it is, but I think you can always find more poetry in it. Not just arbitrary places where you're too intelligent a musician to do that. So, but you'll find it. Let's keep going. Right there. Can you do legato. And can these be really gluey? Sorry. Sorry about the sitar there. That might be kind of cool. Like, no, I'm hearing a little bit too much they say that the both sides of the body doing the same thing. You want to resist that. Joseph, you will get automatically better legato if you flatten the hair without thinking about it. Trying. I mean, it's very easy to let the bow do that when that portato's good one. There, it's legal in Brahms' second symphony. All right, right there again, one more time. The idea is to sort of sneak in, right? Like, I think heat it up gradually. So start with like kind of a white sound, and then heat it up. Try vibrating very close to the note. I would take a little. Sound even more expensive if you get rid of it, because that really gets highlighted. So the emphasis and not. So you put the emphasis on the weak element of the phrase, so it gets boosted. The strong part of the beat is always going to sound strong, no matter what. So you don't need to add further emphasis to that. I think the shift even accentuates that. So is there a gliss indicated there? I can't remember. I don't think there is. Yeah. So one more time. Really brilliant. Careful in first position. I heard that. We neglect it because we think it's just first position. That's fine. No. No, don't neglect it. Go from just right there. Can you hang out on the sustainer? Like keep us a little bit in. Let what wants to sit. Let what wants to move. I think if you sang it to yourself as part of your preparatory practice, you probably do that already. But I think if you do more of it. No matter how bad you think your voice is. I mean, I have a terrible voice. But I always sing as I'm preparing something, and I take that impulse and I put it into the instrument. That's another thing Starker said to me. He said, you try to get too much sound out of the instrument. Put sound into the instrument. And that made me navel gaze for like 20 years after he said that to me. It means so many things. So let's just keep going from there. From there. A little bit more with the left hand, because I think the bow is beating. It's a famous spot for that. Just clean it up a little bit with the timing. I get the feeling you get impatient when you practice. Am I wrong? Like you want it now.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, because you can get a lot of things now, but you can't get this now. This is the type of piece. I got this piece in a music store in Dallas when I was 14. And that's when Starker was playing it all over the place. And I didn't know anything about this piece. I got it and I looked at it, I said, huh? I didn't realize you had to tune the lower strings down. And I'd never heard it before, and I looked at it and I tried to play it, and then I tuned the strings down. Bit by bit, by the time I was like 21 or 22, I could actually play it through. And it sort of learned itself in my subconscious mind or whatever. I would learn a little bit, put it away, get it back out, put it away. It's the kind of piece that it takes a lot of time. How old are you?
21.
You're going to fill out. And as you fill out and all that stuff solidifies, it'll continue to learn itself. It's one of those things that it's going to keep getting better. As good as it is now, it's going to keep getting better, trust me. It took me probably like 7 years to really learn this piece. But I got a younger start. And have you looked at the other movements? Have you learned the...
I've done the whole thing.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Do you want to play any more of it?
Can I?
You want to?
I'm down.
Do you want to play the last movement? A little bit, just like a couple pages?
Yeah. Because
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say a lot of the same stuff in the
second movement. Yeah.
Well, no, I would say a lot of the same things about pacing and about taking time here. Basically taking. Let what wants to sit, or be suspended. Let it be, and then let what wants to move, allow that to happen. But you have to actually kind of study that away from the cello too, and sing it and make it part of you here. Sometimes this can actually get in the way, and confuse the message a bit. So if we absorb it without the cello in front of us, or even at the piano or something, you don't even have to be good at the piano to figure it out. It's one voice basically. So. Yeah, I'd love to hear a little bit of the last movement.
Okay.
You want to play? Yeah.
I feel like once I get to the end of the second page, I'm going to start falling apart because I expected to play with the
Don't
first
worry about
movement, but I am playing it for my junior recital in 6 days, so I guess I should.
All right. sorry to stop you. That's really great. I just want to be able to like work on a couple things. It's really, really fantastic. But don't shoot yourself in the foot by playing too fast out of the gate. I think if you just took a little, turn the heat down from 9 to 8 on this, it could be enough, because it's going to be faster in concert, trust me, because your adrenaline's going to be pumping. You know, unless you have a beta blocker drip that you bring on stage. And don't let the bow rebound so high. You don't have the control over the bow if you do that. If you play basically from the string, I mean, here I think it's indicated to play off. I mean, really let the bow bounce a bit. But when you play from the string as opposed to like letting the bow bounce all the time, you're eliminating a variable that is like that causes us to not be able to play in time, basically, and screws everything up. So nice and compact. So. Get that really clean. I think that's fast enough. Just take a little bit of the edge off the tempo. Starker said to me, 16, he said, control generates excitement. I'll never forget that. Control generates excitement. Lands right in the ashtray. It's like a 3-pointer. Crazy. I mean, ashtray NBA. Try it again from top. Yeah, make sure that the first chord is it's forte, right? The first chord. But it can't be like the. By the way, your last two chords. This can be a little bit more drawn out, like just. You should cast a spell with that soft stuff, and then behind the cloak. You know the opera Il Tabarro by Puccini. It's part of Il Trittico. That's the sort of verismo, blood and guts one. There's a comic opera, the Giannischicchi, and then Suor Angelica. You guys need to run and learn these operas. They're so great. Oh my God, I love the Il Trittico. Anyway, it's about murder. So it should be like. You start again. So great. Okay, so that first chord of the last movement, they might be thinking, we're going to do the same thing, but no. No, it's one of those funky counting songs. Do you know how to count in Hungarian? I don't. I can count in Turkish. I don't know why I know, but I do. Can you vibrate the top note though? Take time. Can that sound less like a harpsichord and more like a Hamburg Steinway? I'm hearing it. It's a little too picky. Maybe go a little closer to the frog. Not. You're trying to do everything out here, right? Maybe, okay.
No, I mean, I don't have to.
But I don't want to change here, but if you're going to perform this soon, please, by all means, don't listen to me. But I play it closer in. And of course it depends on the bow and where the balance point is and all that too. So, but I get a more reliable, controlled ricochet closer in. So, and I put a little bit more weight on the heel of my hand when I do that bow stroke. So, but that's up to you. Just make sure you really make that first chord sound like the first movement. So, I mean, it's fine what we do. Just don't allow the bow when you don't allow it to get too far off the string. Okay? Get that, David? Right him on that. Okay? I'm calling him by his name, not what I usually call him. Just kidding. Just kidding. I know he's out there. Get better, David. Miss you. Oh gosh. Okay. How are we doing? Oh, it's 20 to 10. Do you want to play the fourth movement? No, this was all really brilliant. I like the. I can't do it right now. You sounded like Eddie Van Halen. It was great. You're like, it was great. It was so great. I always think of Eddie Van Halen when I get to that part, and it cheers me up because I'm miserable when I reach that. It's like, oh no, here it comes. But you're fearless, man. It's great. You know, you're gonna go far, kid. It sounds wonderful. Good luck on your recital. I would say the best advice I can give you right now for the short term is to just back off a little bit and don't allow your emotional state to affect your technique. I think if you back off in tempo, just back off in the amount of downward force with which you play, and be smart. Use more of the surface of the bow hair. That's for free, okay? When you try to force with the side of the bow, all you're gonna get is collegno trotto. Be careful with that, okay? All of you. I mean, I did it for many years. I probably still do it a little bit, but when I make myself aware of it, I stop. So awareness is key. But thank you. It really sounds inspiring. All of you. Great job. Bravo. Good luck. Thank you. If we have any time left, I mean, we can do some, answer questions, or it's kind of weird for me to ask you to ask me questions, but I'm here. Anybody? Jerry? Oh, yes. Oh, we have some hand. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yes. Hi.
Hi. I've so enjoyed you being the principal of the LA Phil.
Oh, thank you.
It's just been such I'm a subscriber, and I just.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah, so I loved your solos. Was it last weekend or whatever? A couple weekends ago.
Oh, we had I had a few in the Mahler 7. Oh, Mahler 7, that's like being chased by a mountain lion playing that piece. It's terrifying. It's all handwritten, the copyist. Well, the copyist didn't do such a great job. Plus, I'm 52, my eyesight is not what it was.
But you're amazing.
Oh,
And I just wondered how you enjoy it. What do you, how do you like that, being principal cello? What's that like for you? And what's it like going from Detroit to LA? And as apolitical as you can get about that, just in terms of how you like it,
I like how you set that up. It helps me to avoid and tire.
I don't want to.
No, I wouldn't have gone there. Thanks for asking that. I mean, I love what I do. I'm good at what I do. It's funny. I sort of came to it by accident. I would play principal in a lot of things when I was going to school, and never thought that I would end up doing. I thought I would be doing more chamber music and solo stuff. And I had a manager in New York, and I was waiting for the phone to ring all the time. And fax machines were a big deal. He was like, waiting for that fax, that important FedEx to get tossed. But it's like I had it all backwards. When I went to Yale for postgrad, and it was either bartending or I could get some sort of music job. And principal cello of the Hartford Symphony was open, so I auditioned and I got the job. And I had to look after my mom too. She was ill, and so I had my mom with me. And you only get one mom, so I did what I had to do, and it was not easy. But so Hartford, not the Berlin Philharmonic, admittedly, but it was a very good it was a very good start for me. I learned all the big solos, and it was baptism by fire. And got to play a concerto with the orchestra every other year, and then I got a little bit comfortable. I was there for about 10 years, and then I I almost left music actually because I just kind of got stuck, and I was studying to take my MCAT exam, and you know, I mean, it's a kind of a long story, but I won't go into that. But it was either Detroit Symphony principal. I had my eye on that job for a while. I had auditioned for it before, but I overslept for the finals. I woke up at 5 minutes to 10, and my audition was 10. I was in pole position. I was number one. Number one is the best position because, like, you get there and you play and you set the standard. And I was so excited that I'd made the finals. I was calling my friends. And I called my girlfriend. I was like, I made the finals. I was up till 7 a.m. and I fell asleep. And I blew it. And they almost didn't let me audition again, and I did. They made me take a prelim. So I went straight from the prelim. I don't mean to tell the entire saga, but it was well earned. So I was there 10 years, and that was another baptism by fire. Because at first I could do nothing right. You know, I was surrounded by all these altar cockers that had been there for like 100 years. And I say red, they say green. You know, it was just. And then finally I put my foot down and I said, well, if you want me to change the bowing, I'm not going to do it, so you're going to have to take it home and practice it. And like half the orchestra like shuffled their feet. As I finally stood up for myself, I realized, some people need to be slapped to get some respect. And I'm not that kind of a person. Like I lead by example. I don't demonstrate. I find that to be a rather insulting thing because I'm first among equals. That's how I look at it in any situation. I don't do that. I show all my colleagues that same respect. And if other principal players want to get up and demonstrate, hey, that's their, I stay out of their lane. But I don't do it unless I'm asked to do it, and then I'll do it. But I feel like, you know, whatever part of the bow I'm in, they should be in it. You know, it's like, I play in a very natural way. And I often will turn around and say, hey, do you mind if we do this on the A string? Or do you mind if we do this up bow? Like, I ask, I don't just change like an important bowing. I often will ask for input. And I don't like to take questions like during a rehearsal. I'll say, if it's important, ask me at break. You know, I don't like interruptions. But it's something that I discovered, like when I was in Harvard, I was good at it. And then when I got to Detroit, I started getting calls to play concertos and playing at music festivals. And then when I got LA, that kind of like got out of control, which was kind of nice, but at the same time, I couldn't keep up with everything. And I kind of had a bit of a breakdown 4 years ago. And I was actually in the hospital. And so it got the best of me. I thought I could like be a slave to three masters. You know, I was teaching at Colburn, playing full-time in the LA Phil, and I had a, you know, essentially a solo and chamber music career on the side. And it was nerve-wracking. I had no time for my family, and everything was just kind of falling apart. So I got everything together, and everything's great now. You know, I learned the word no, which is nice. And you know, my playing got better as a result of it. I thought that I had to hoard everything that came my way, and now I recommend other people. I don't just say, well, I have to have that gig because if cellist X gets that, then that means something. No, it means we all get ahead. You know, I don't know if that makes sense, but I think I've mellowed a lot. So I love what I do. You know, I can't imagine not. I can imagine ceasing doing the orchestra thing maybe in a few years if I know that I can support my family, you know, doing the other stuff, but it's not going to be anytime really soon. So that's a good.
They're lucky to have you. They really are. You're a steal as far as I was concerned.
Oh, that's sweet. But I'm lucky to be there.
Because that was empty for a few years, and when Dudamel grabbed you, I was like, whoa!
Well, that's very nice.
Amazing.
Well,
I know you're kind of humble, but I just want to let you know that I'm
Thank
a
you.
huge fan.
Thank you.
I tell all my friends, you know, I'm the only cellist in the group, so I just tell you,
Oh, you're also a cellist.
Well, I'm not like these guys.
Do you want to play?
No. And I haven't been playing for a couple of years because I have my shoulder. But this is, I'm much more amateur than.
Well, my sister is like, I mean, she's a dental hygienist, and she's played cello her whole life.
Yeah, I'm a physical therapist, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, so it's so, I just wanna let you know that.
Oh.
I thought you were steel, you know, the minute I heard you.
Well,
Wow.
I miss Detroit a lot. I
Oh,
won't
do you?
lie. My kids were born there. I got married there, and it's a very special orchestra too. It's an extremely good orchestra.
I have cousins who are from there, and they love it too.
Yeah. And you know, the Midwest. I mean, I'm a Midwesterner, sort of dyed in the wool. So my mom's from Chicago, and I sort of grew up in, well, like Texas and Oklahoma. That's not Midwest, but you know, I have lots of family in Michigan and Indiana and of course Illinois on my mom's side. So anyway, what's your name? I forgot.
Marion Klein.
Mary Klein. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Yeah.
too. I'm honored.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I didn't want to miss this live.
Oh.
When I saw this live, I was like, oh my God, I'm watching on this YouTube thing. I'm going to come.
Thank you.
I think we have time for one more question.
My only question was, when do you consider a piece learned?
Never. You know that phrase, I think Auguste Rodin said it, like a work of art is never completed, only abandoned. It applies, you know, every time you work on a piece and you polish it. You know, I learned the Barber Concerto in 11 days, 3 years ago. I had never played it, and of course I always paint myself into a corner. And then it's like, I have to learn this thing, so I learned it. Didn't play it from memory that time, but I learned it. It's pretty polished actually after that time, because I worked quickly, but then I got it back out this time, and when I played it, it was a completely different piece. And you know, I was like that when I learned the Rococo variations when I was quite young, and you know, yeah, I played it a lot when I was really young, and then when I played it in college, my teacher, Steve Doan at Eastman, he said, "You sound like an adolescent," you know. I still played it like I was 14, and so I had to kind of like play catch up with that piece because I still was playing with the bad habits that it's like I had regressed, you know. He said, "Why don't you play it like you just played Shlomo? You crushed it." He didn't say that. I didn't say crushed back then. I used my kids' language, and they're like, "Dad, stop." That's so lit as AF. I get it all wrong just on purpose. I love it. So yeah, it's never learned. I mean, yeah, you learn it, you play it, you learn from memory. I mean, you screw up a few times. Nothing's ever perfect. You know, you get good at hiding your mistakes. You don't make faces. You know, it's easier with the mask. Although the eyes tell everything. I mean, I know that's kind of a hacky answer, but I'm never feeling like I'm doing it justice. You know, it's always like it always can be better, but you have to accept that and just kind of move on, and you can't let it drive you crazy. You go insane. You know, I mean.
I felt like a little bit like it's like either a Schumann song, but I always see a break of it sometimes. What if I stop?
Do it. Have a lot of music on your plate. You know, I remember practicing Barber the other day, and I ended up writing a tiny cadenza instead of working on the Barber. This was weeks ago. I was playing. I was like started noodling a bit, and then I was like, I don't want to play the Barber right now. And everything felt good, so I moved to Haydn. Sometimes it has to be more stream of consciousness in a way, like a therapy session. Did I just say that out loud? Do we have to stop? Well, we have to stop filming, right?
Indeed.
Okay.
We lose our lease at 10 o'clock.
Oh, it's not 10 o'clock yet.
Almost.
Okay.
Thank you, Robert DeMaine. It's been a
Thanks,
great
Larry.
pleasure. Thank you to all our young artists, and a round of applause for our young artists. Special thanks to our curator, David Garrett, to our host, Joon Sung Jun, to our co-sponsor, the Bob Cole Conservatory at CSLB, and to our internet coordinator, Maura Phelps, and our campus guide, Angela Marvin. Thanks to all of you who came down here this evening and all of you who are watching at home. Finally, a word about the Los Angeles Violoncello Society. If you're not already a member, I invite you to join us. We are cellists, professionals, amateurs, teachers, students, and lovers of the cello. Some of my best friends are cello groupies. Our membership supports those programs such as this evening and others such as our website, our Bach project, which you can see and hear by visiting our website, and our annual scholarship auditions, which are coming up soon. You can join us at our website, which is lacello.org. We look forward to seeing you all again soon. Meanwhile, I'm Jerome Kessler on behalf of the Los Angeles Violoncello Society, reminding you to stay safe and practice.